Ladies and gentlemen, we had DK versus LNG and How Alive versus Gen G. I think DK versus LNG kind of played out as expected. I think the key thing is just that, I don't want to view too much gameplay here because it doesn't really matter. I think just LNG's read on DK was fucking beautiful. Damwon banned Rumble Yon Nocturne, which was pretty much the comp that that LNG beat Bilibili with. The Nocturne Rumble Yon, which makes a lot of sense, right? These are champions that are solid in Doriano, whatever, right? They ban all those champions and they first pick Ziggs because they're afraid of Gala Ziggs, but it also highlights that they're ready to pick Smolder or Tristana and do Smolder, right? This is something that the Korean teams are doing. They have pride on Smolder, but I think DK as a team, I think that if Showmaker is not playing Syndra and LeBlanc in the drafts, I think that they are much weaker. I think they are much worse. So LNG, what they did is they banned Aurora and then Gnar Jax to set up the Renekton 1-2. Zika as a player, I think that his Rumble is phenomenal, Renekton phenomenal, Camille also phenomenal. I think that Zika has had a tremendous tournament. I think that Zika for me is definitely the MVP behind LNG's run-up to the 3-0. I think that Zika has been absolutely crazy good. So Renekton, Vi. Vi sets up for both the Ziggs and the Kaiser connector. That is like the main thing for me here, right? LNG, in these drafts where Ziggs is open on red side, they can match Kaiser into Ziggs or get Ziggs third for themselves. I think this is so massive. Beautiful read. They have the AD and the AD, and then they can pivot to Kaiser, to Ziggs, and then they have all the choices in the world for Scout to 5-pick on. Because where is Showmaker the most dangerous? Showmaker is the most dangerous when he 5-picks in counters. Like we saw the Silas game, his LeBlanc games, his Syndra games. I think this is where Showmaker is at his best. Because still, LNG is aware of the fact that Smolder could potentially go top into Renekton because Kingen has indeed played Smolder, I believe, in competitive and also in solo queue. So they are keeping the flex to last, they are keeping the enemy flex to last, and then when Smolder is revealed to be mid, he just picks Silas because he has great Alistair ult, great Maokai ult. Silas is not that good into Smolder, but I think that it just scales good here because of the Alistair Maokai. But I think the key thing for me is just that they made sure that in the 1-2 they set up Zika for success with the bans and the Rumble ban that the enemy showed. And then, by extension, when the next game happened, the adaptation here where a Renekton ban came through that they just picked Camille Sejuani when the Vi first pick. Still ignoring Ziggs because they want to invite Gala Kaiser, but the Camille with the Jax Gnar is just the evolution after Renekton is out. And I think that if the enemy team is picking Kesante into your Camille when they are lacking heavy AD damage, I think that you have checkmated your opponent. And I think that Zika was extremely effective. They got the gank off in the first game onto the Olaf. You got the solo kill as well with the Black Cleaver advantage. And Zika was far more effective. The same thing in the next game where Camille is picked and the enemy is picking Kesante into you. DK have this massive problem is that when they pick Ziggs, they don't know what to do with the draft. They really don't know what to do with the draft. And I think this is something that they need to drop. They really, really need to drop it. Because Showmaker has one of the slowest stacking Smolders of all time. Up there in Jahu levels, up there with Frescavi levels. Like, this is not something you should be playing. Showmaker should be playing things that are deeply rooted in the legacy and history of Showmaker, because that's where he's at his best. And I think that if DK want to win, Aiming and Showmaker need to be the ones with agency, but they are drafting in ways where the other people have agency, and sometimes nobody having any agency, which is this game. Vi, Poppy, Kesante as your physical damage, then Ari Ziggs, inviting one of the best Galio lock-ins of all time. Galio is just tremendous. Someone in the chat asked about Jinx. Kato mentioned before Worlds that Jinx will become a high prior pick. I've been saying this for the last month. Jinx is garbage. Jinx cannot keep up in a modern meta. There's too much shit that kills her. She's too slow in the game. She doesn't want to fight early. No item spikes are interesting. She doesn't provide anything consistent. She's just good at punishing boosted teams and bad teams. good for play-ins, but for main stage, it's all about winning bot. It's all about being useful with any gold. Even when Jinx has 6 items, it isn't super impressive. Like, look at the tools that we are seeing in these drafts, like fucking Vi, Ziggs, Jhin, Camille, Galio, like Vi, Kaiser, Smolder, Ziggs. Like, there's no world where Jinx would operate under this. Like, Jinx is not even that rewarding item-wise. And I've been saying it for a full month. People were hyping Jinx. I know, like, other streamers were hyping Jinx, but no, garbage. I was saying the same thing about Syndra. I said Syndra, in a world where the game pacing is what it is, it's always a champion that does better in scrims. I've seen all of this shit so many times when I've competed myself, where people get hype about champions that look good, but they end up not being that good as they fucking imagine. It just doesn't play out the same on stage. It's the same. You know, I was in CQ and Yike is picking Jack's jungle, and I asked him, like, "Why the fuck are you picking Jack's jungle? You're never gonna play it." And yeah, big surprise. Nobody's fucking playing Viego. No one's playing Jax. No one's playing this garbage. You know. The fights are very dynamic in the way they are playing out, and Jinx without Gale Force or items that make her hyper extremely strong is just not the same, you know. It's just it doesn't work. It's not the same as last year. Anyhow, why is Viego not played? Because people want to have CC tools from jungle. Why isn't Kaiser picked more? Because Kaiser doesn't have an easy time laning against everything. Kaiser is specific into Ziggs, and you want to make sure that, you know, you have a lot of CC in your composition. This is the main thing. You want CC in your comp. Here they have Galio, Rel, Sejuani, Camille. Like, LNG is setting up for success, you know? But LNG read Dauma like a book. I think their preparation was fucking beautiful. I had money on the 2-0 and they closed out for me. I think that LNG was the way better team than Damwon coming into this, you know? Another thing that's interesting for the Damwon continued run is that on 2-1 now, they cannot face up against the teams that they've already faced off against. So they can't face off against a FlyQuest that wins against PSG. That makes their next round a little bit harder. Because there they could face off against Weibo or G2, and they could also face off against a Hanwha Life, which is interesting. But I think LNG, in regards to their meta read, and Zika and Scout's performances, I think is what brought them to a 3-0 position. I think that's very, very respectable. I actually think DK is the weakest Asian team. I think it's very fair to say. I think that maybe Weibo Gaming and Top Esports play with a wide range of play, but DK is not a team that is going to punish that, because DK is not that good macro-wise. Like, DK's games against Fnatic and FlyQuest were very sloppy. It just turns out that both FlyQuest and Fnatic can't take a handed win, you know? I think that the second series that we saw, Hanwha Life vs Genji, now that's a series that it played out in a way that only these two teams are capable of playing out. I think that these two teams facing off against each other is so absurdly unique, and it was beautiful, so beautiful to watch. Hanwha Life on blue side. So my prediction stemmed from the fact that Hanwha Life had side selection, and I thought that a lot of the things that were happening at Worlds were very similar to what happened in the best of fives, but I think that Genji have adapted to that well. And the key thing for me, maybe in the first game Aurora didn't look that exciting, but Aurora is incredibly strong. Like, this is 3 games of Genji being allowed to pick Aurora, and I think that this highlights a flaw maybe in Hanwha Life, because here at least you get Yone, but here in the next one, I think that you would want Hanwha Life to be able to slam the Aurora here, you know? Most other teams will, and I think that could change the dynamic of the series, right? Because another detail on the flip side is that Genji don't want to play Vi. They don't want to play Vi. And that's why they are locking Nocturne perma. They just have a preference to Nocturne, right? Some teams pick Nocturne for the Orianna combo, but Nocturne is the placeholder for the Vi. You know, it's a placeholder for the Vi. I think at some point as well, I think you could argue that Hanwha Life maybe should have switched up their bans a little bit because they kept the Nidalee ban throughout. And I think that if you have the expectation, especially here, when you see the Yone ban and you're first picking Smolder, the enemy is not going to pick Nidalee. They are not, right? So I think that this was a little bit too heavy-handed. I think that maybe you should have attacked Aurora as a ban as you did in the previous games. Here you ban Aurora. Here on blue side, you banned Aurora, highlighting that you don't pick it. But on the contrary, why Hanwha Life are doing this is because if they thought if we ban Aurora instead of Nidalee, the enemy is just going to pick a Rumble. And Keen is a very respectable Rumble. So they thought to themselves, Aurora, Rumble, same shit, strong champs, Keen is good on both. But I think that they should have explored there a little bit more. And that's the beauty of best of fives, right? Imagine this was 2-1 up Genji, and then game 4, all of a sudden they remove Nocturne or remove Aurora, and then everything changes. Could be very interesting, no? Could be interesting. So, most teams pick Vi here. Genji picked Nocturne, and they have practiced this a lot, right? Because there was also the variant where they had Twitch and Nocturne. It's not something I expected, but when they lock it in, you understand it right away, right? Now, Twitch, ult range, attack range is longer than Nocturne, visibility range for anyone, and some fights in this game that are absolutely fucking gorgeous, you know? Absolutely fucking gorgeous. Let's take a look. Game number 1, I think I said it as game 2 was concluded. I did feel like Genji in general was playing better. I think that Yone is a champion that is very overtuned, and in this game, I think that the blue side draft is better. And I think a key detail here is how Life managed to get the swap off. If you get the swap off and Kaiser doesn't need to lane against Varos early levels, Nar early levels, I think that someone in the chat said Twitch is such a bad pick, he shouldn't have been allowed to play at all, and it made no sense in the draft either. Okay, so I'm gonna give you the benefit of the doubt, and I'm gonna try my best to help you. So, Twitch can be picked because you can skip the early levels, which is a problem for you. Another thing is the enemy is picking Smolder, assuming that when Smolder hits the cap of 225, that he's going to take over the game. And Twitch is on a similar timer, he just doesn't have something as arbitrary as a stacking number, right? He's gated by items. If he gets to 2 core, Blade, Hurricane, Twitch is a monster scaler. And Twitch has insane synergy with Nocturne, and Twitch can get away with a lot by skipping the early lane phase, which they did with the swap. I think that's what made, like, this makes Twitch a very powerful pick. The enemy team don't operate in the sphere of influence of Twitch. And if that doesn't put you in line, then I cannot help you anymore, and maybe the best thing is to just Black Mirror mute you. But people say I get one guy, but it's one hope. That hope is to bring everybody closer to a collective knowledge ceiling that is higher and higher. Okay, so Hanwha Life, 3 grubs. I think that there was a fight that happened on Drake number 2 that was quite disappointing. I think that this kill on Viper, we can also show it, bro. I don't know. Like when I watched this live, I saw this is the fastest horse I've ever seen. Look at boom, and then the prediction on the flash. Oof, beautiful. That's first blood for you. Fucking gorgeous from the live. Let's continue. There's a Drake 2 that I want to show. This fight, very educational. Here. The key thing here is that Hanwha Life need to pull out the Drake. Peanut ends up in an exposed position. You want to have people undermining the fortress of Renata. You don't want to make it front to back. The issue is Peanut's going into the pit when he shouldn't. Another thing that you could argue here is that in a world where they skip this Drake and If you skip this Drake, you can definitely be in a position to rush and be in a better position for top, better position for mid, because this Drake doesn't matter so much, you know? The issue here is Peanut goes into the pit and Genji are in a front to back spot now, which means that Lehens can easily dominate the fight. They're into the pit now, the Nocturne ult is on, and there is no realistic way for them to actually fight this fight because Aurora's undermining them. And this was the 2-0 up for Genji. Here as well, similar. I think Hanwha Life needed to accept that they should lose mid-turret against the composition that they are playing against. I think mid-tower doesn't matter when you're playing these champs. I think that Hanwha Life should look for just taking control and space the river. I think they actually lose so much by wanting to defend this mid-turret. Because I think whenever the situation is front to back, the situation becomes easy for Genji to play out because the Renata gets so much value and Genji is quite mobile in such a sense. We fast forward now to Drake number 4. First and foremost, there was a little moment in time here where Peanut is spotted on a zombie ward and Genji just slam, Nash attack, they get it. They thought they had a little window to squeeze, but it was a rough window, right? Because Genji was just in river. So this was very good punish from Genji, but also Hanwha Life looking for this on Chovy, rather greedy, and they managed to take the Nash, which is massive, right? Massive for the game. I think Genji, by every stretch of their imagination, should be favored. And then you continue. There's this moment in time where Peanut over postures. He gets charmed on the mid wave. Yone is bot. Hanwha Life is punching a pink ward, and Genji think to themselves, let's fucking go. Someone asks, why is Aurora strong? This shit. This is the POV of blue side. Aurora's damage is so fucking guaranteed. And that is what makes her so strong. Her scaling is good. Her early game is good. She can go to 2 lanes. And she's an AP top laner. And the kit where she can go invis and ult from such a wide range is kind of stupid. It's kind of stupid. So we have this situation. Kai'Sa manages to drift out of it, and then Peanut doesn't flash. He has to flash out of the Aurora ult. He doesn't. And the follow-up, of course, is something that just happens once every 100 games, you know? Like, the fucking Q on 3 into W, only Chovy doesn't get caught with the combo where everyone has passive on them from Kai'Sa, and Kai'Sa's just fucking collecting. Keep in mind, if it wasn't for this fucking engage here from Delight, the game is just over because red side gets sold, enemy has no jungle, GG, right? But they are chasing on to Delight, they could just walk away, right? This is a mistake from Genji, plain and simple. The Delight punishes beautifully, snaps their necks, and the game is over. The game is over. The game is over. So to get the Drake, I think that's pretty much all she wrote. Kai'Sa's gig accelerated at this point in time. You can take a look at this final fight. Lance tries to look for something. Keen uses his spells. The light survives this one. And then the snap here from Zeka only gets Canyon, but Pays was forced to flash. And then Viper cleans up. We go to game number 2. Chovy grasped Ahri every game. He didn't play it every game. Try again with your question. Game number 2. Obviously very different now because they are on red side. I think that playing Akali Rumble as a pairing is quite hard. I understand why he picked Akali, because you want something that can survive Ari, Nocturne, and of course the Aurora, which is rather difficult. I think in hindsight as well, I think that banning Renata instead of Kalista, I think is a mistake. I think if you're 5-picking support, I prefer the Kalista ban because the enemy is not going to blind pick Renata with any other AD than Kalista. So I think that you can attack both worlds here by removing the Kalista, because that removes effectively the Renata too. So I think that's a little bit of a mistake. I think other than that, I think that I don't mind the Kali, but I just don't like it together with Rumble. That's it for me. I think it becomes way too reliant on killing whatever target is in the wild and hoping that that's enough. I think that on red side, I think it's understandable that How Alive don't have room. I think on blue side, I think the Aurora ban, they should have considered it. But I already explained this topic, so I'm not going to answer this question because this is turning into a YouTube video. I can't be repeating the same thing like a one-string banjo over and over again. So I repeat, I don't like the Rumble Akali pairing. Makes everything too reliant on the wild and them getting value out of the wild. We continue. Lane-wise, Zeka looked okay, right? He's playing against Ari, no problem there. I thought Pace would use double sums here to kill Viper, but I wasn't looking for it. Continue. Somebody as well, you know, like playing Rumble against Nocturne Aurora is extremely uncomfortable, bro. You can't really lane, you have to be afraid of Nocturne, Perma, and Aurora can just commit on you super easy. I think it's quite uncomfortable to lane. I think early parts of the game were rather uninteresting beyond like the point where basically Nocturne grabs the grubs and then crosses to push out Vi that wants to do the Drake for free. And this happened because Peanut stole one grub, so his Drake start was very late. So that's cool. We continue. Here was a very big macro mistake from How Alive. The Riot Games team has 5 grubs and they basically red side is planning to give Drake. They're giving Drake, but you can never give position. Here Delight is spotted on a pink ward and is crossing into top side, and Genji is super happy to race. So they are now playing on that bot wave that is stacking, and now they know that the red is top side punching a pink. Aurora is under very little danger to get dove, and their play is simply, we're going to pressure Zeka. Zeka is under the turret, Zeka is maybe hoping that he can 1v3, but of course this is giga dangerous. He plays as good as he can, he Qs, he shows for a second, the Tether of Fear lands in the charm and he dies. And this is just Delight being late to the situation. If you can see, Delight is nowhere to be found. It's fine to give up the Drake, but don't give up the map trait. You can't. There is no cross map against 5 grubs, especially when the enemy spots you. It's really bad. It's really bad. Here as well, in the end, Peanut is trying to cancel bases, clear some vision, doesn't expect Genji to stick around. Peanut just dies too. I think the extension here from Genji is the mistake, where they could have easily walked away here. Bot is pushed, they have access to mid, they can do whatever the fuck they want. Lehens just sends himself in, what is not really necessary, and the fight extends. We have Jin, Curtain Call, the static shift proc does 270 damage, which is gorgeous, and then Keen gets shot in the head. A big price to pay here. They were very late to the Drake situation, in my mind, here on blue side. Like, How Alive is in position first, Rumble is in position first. Just better prep work for How Alive. Canyon as well gets caught here, which forces out the Nocturne ult, and he gets rooted and he's afraid of them committing on him, so he Nocturne R's, which makes sense. I think that this is very well played by Hanwha. And they try to get something from mid turret because they realize their mistake. They're not in position for the cross map either. Lehens gets Kalista ulted, and Hanwha, they manage to secure Drake 3, which is super nice. And in the end here as well, Zeka tries to go for more. I think the issue here though is FaZe holds his flash, flashes with him over the wall. Lehens gets the Q off, and there is no R2. I think Zeka needed the R2 in the air to try to kill, of course, the Kalista, and I think that this could have been, you know, a kill and him surviving if he clips through the ultimate. Clips through the wall. Imagine if Zeka just offer that E. Let me show you this moment. Here he lands the E, and then imagine, you know, if he, for example, R2's Lehens Q, you know, I think that Akali R could have been juicy here. Could have been very juicy. I think people saying that it's unplayable for Akali, it's just, this is Akali in most games. You dislike Yone in pro play, Yamato? Why are you wasting my time, man? Why? What does that even mean? Alright. So yeah, Zeka, I think that he doesn't need to... I think Zeka needs to just R2 in the air. Would have been better, I think. Did he have R2? Let me see that again. Maybe he R2 to get in range for the E. No, he didn't. He had R2. He had R2. Oh. Okay, let's continue. Let's go to this Drake situation. I was very surprised how Hanwha just got entry like this. I think the JNG, in terms of their Drake setup as well, in preparation for this, they know that Akali is going to base for second because he showed on top wave. They know that the Rumble needs to base for second. I think that Genji could have been here a lot earlier in River and also threatened against the phase check, because Hanwha is just pushing the mid wave, Chovy is showing, and then they phase check through here and take full control. I think this is a weakness of Genji. Two Drakes straight, Hanwha had better control, which is something that is very fair to point as a potential weakness of Genji. They play the situations out beautifully, but Hanwha is first on the spot, and I think that matters. Alright. Here I think Delight just kind of misplays. I don't know why he's posturing so far forward. He's not tethering to his team. I think that he should just wait. He gets charmed, doesn't use W, doesn't use flash, and the moment he dies, there's no fight to be had. Then the extension here from HLE, they are still hovering around the bot space. I'm not so sure why. They are face checking bushes where there's vision, and then Doran decides to cause a forest fire here by ulting bushes. As you can see here, his ult, I don't know where it lands. He just hates forests. He just wants to cause forest fires. Not sure what the thought here was from Hanwha, but this was, you know, whole play. Now, the issue is in terms of the economy, the 3 core of Genji is going to be kind of overbetting here, and Hanwha managing to reach 3 core is going to be close to impossible. Let's see a follow-up here. I think that there is a world where Zeka can play this better too. I think that he should focus on getting the E onto FaZe. I think that if he flash E's, I think would be better because he has a small frame here of CC. Because the issue is FaZe flashes the shuriken toss, as you can see, it's flying in the air right there. I think that could have been better, you know? That could have been a lot better. And then the R2 here from Zeka is also not hitting anything, but I'm not so sure if the Nocturne is blinding him at this point. I need to see if the Nocturne ult is blinding him. The Nocturne ult is blinding him, so he is nearsighted. And he doesn't get the R2 off. Maybe you need to do a little peek like this on Peanut's screen or something, but it's hard to aim spells like that. Of course, he misses it, and I think it just comes down to the E and not landing. Here as well, you know, Viper is he's just practically shooting blind. He's just shooting blind. Rumble ult is fine, solid. But at this point, I think that Genji just has too much money, bro. You can look at your teammate's screen, yeah. That's what's OP about the LEC studio. It's pretty small, so you have access. You can look at your teammate's screen. There's no rules against it. But okay, I think after this fight, I think it's pretty damn one-sided because as you can see, the 3 items on everybody. It's hard for Delight to find the same level of engages as the previous game. The Rumble ult is fine, Pace is burning. Solari was used, but Chovy is stacking the resets, and Zeka just couldn't get anything done. I think playing Akali against Yone is very different than playing Akali against this comp, where everybody is giga mobile and you hitting is giga hard. But I think the MVP of this fight is just Keen, because keep in mind, this is a Jhin with 3 core, you know? Like, look at Viper. He's just getting bullied here by Keen. He's getting chased out. Keen is not letting him do a curtain call. And Viper with his 3 items doesn't find any play here. I think, once again, I repeat, if you have Rumble top, I think that you should. Like, if you have Vi, Renekton, Akali, maybe you can play. If you have Rumble, Vi, I think this is like a Tristana game in my opinion. How tanky is that Aurora? Yeah, this Aurora has Zika's arm guard and 2 items with HP. So he's walking around with 3k health. Imagine if he had Grasp. Like look at the HP of Chovy and Keen. Look at their HP bars. That's 3,000, 3,000. To the person who asked earlier, basically Grasp as a rune is the only rune that hasn't gotten like a lot of nerfs. So when range champions are playing against melees like Yone or Akali, then they can get a lot of value from it. The same thing for Smolder, you know. So there's that, you know. And then you can see in the third game, he didn't play Grasp because he's playing against Smolder, because he's not going to look to weave autos. He's looking for lethal damage with, of course, the Ahri. I don't like it. I hate it when teams do this, if I'm going to be honest. I hate when people try to kind of shoehorn in the victory. Especially when you have something like Nocturne. I think when the enemy is defending, just keep moving. Just keep moving. Like, sure, it can work if you have good poke, but this is a pretty big, you know. Honestly, I'm looking at it again. I think Cannon is ending. I don't know why Cannon is pressing R. Cannon is just bored. The play is fine. The play is in fact kind of good. It just Cannon just goes when he doesn't need to. I'm just not a big fan of the 5v5 sieges. They traumatize me, man. They traumatize me. Take a look at the final fight. Random silly question, can you spell shield Aurora ult? I think that you can block the initial damage, but you cannot block the circle. Because you're not necessarily affected by the circle. It's just a wall that you get affected by if you walk into it. So it's like Javan ult. Javan ult is still there because it changes the terrain. And it's AoE. Camille is different because it's targeted and it's only on one person. Really good snap from the hands, man. I like it a lot. Vi just got completely blasted. It's just a gold gap. Spell shield while walking through the edge. I'm not so sure. I feel like that's something that has a high refresh rate because Veigar can only apply his stun once on a target, you know? Let's find out game 3. Could this have been an LB game for Zeka instead of Akali? So. I think when you have Rumble, I just prefer the AD mids. That's where I land, really. How come people aren't picking Naut? Oh, they just prefer the other supports. Rel just is extremely flexible. All right, the masterpiece, the fucking Twitch on 5. Look, I think How Alive don't have a lot of options in terms of what to pick. I think probably now Aurora to me is Giga OP. I think plain and simple is Giga OP to me. I think it's just broken. I think that probably you want to pick, like, he didn't want to run back the Rumble against Aurora Nocturne, but I think Rumble is also better here than Nar. I think it's just a better champ. I think that How Alive had very little options about what to pick here on 4-5. I think Varus, Renata probably was the best thing they could have picked. It's probably the best thing they could have picked. Something that I can point out is I'm not sure what I wanted to point out, but Aurora not being banned at some point, giving 3 games of Aurora is crazy. I think that's not the methodology, especially if you're first picking Smolder and then we ban Yon on 2. I think that you should be able to pivot at some point, you know? It's like, what AD mid is Shovi gonna play here? He's already revealed his hand. The enemy is rotating the same comp over and over again. So I think there is some room to explore. Because I don't think Aurora and Rumble function the same, and Canyon doesn't want to play Vi. He wants to play the Nocturne. But I think that this Twitch pick is genius. Some people complain about lane swaps, but I do think that lane swaps allow you to be a little bit more creative in draft. Because a lot of champions are not played because the level 1, 2, 3, 4 lane phase is just too piss weak. And a lot of champions are gated by that. A lot of them. And lane swap existing allows you to just skip past that. I think that makes the meta exciting. I think that makes the meta fun. Because without lane swaps, Twitch would maybe suffer in lane, it would never be useful. But with lane swap, you can set up for Twitch to survive 1, 2, 3. I was surprised by the Twitch, but not shocked, because it makes sense. Twitch Nocturne is an abomination. Twitch Nocturne is an abomination. Anything that out-attacks outside of the range of Nocturne and can pop invisible, like pop up through invis, is incredibly difficult to play against. But you just get fucking rammed down, you don't even know where the bullets are coming from. So that shit is crazy. So I think that Genji really cooked in game 3. Really cooked. How Alive had the forbidden fucking Yone. Is Nocturne actually good? I think Nocturne is really good with Aurora, really good with Twitch. Like if you supply the right champions for Nocturne, then yeah, it's really good. But if you don't, it's useless. Like Nocturne Orianna is good. Nocturne Aurora is good. Nocturne Twitch is fantastic. But with Ahri, obviously you prefer Vi, I would say. Vi Ahri is way better, you know? But the moment I saw it, I was like, ooh, Twitch Nocturne. That's the combo. But it's really cool that Pace is willing to do this shit, you know? Why is Orianna Nocturne not being played? Because Yone is people are letting Yone through. Like for example, let's say here, This draft right here, the LNG draft against Bilibili, both teams are hyper aware of it. Most teams would pick Vi here, but they pick Nocturne away because they're afraid of Orianna Nocturne. That's it. Yone was open, so most teams are picking Yone, but I swear to you, we're gonna see Yone red ban on every time, and then Orianna and Syndra will be played, and Nocturne will be picked. And people are gonna do shit like playing Orianna Nico Nocturne against Orianna, or Orianna, or first pick Orianna and then get Nocturne. It's gonna happen. But okay. Looking at the game, I think the crucial thing is that Viper goes lethality. So I explained this on stream, but this is a concept that has come up. So if you watched my videos in the past, you'll understand what I'm looking for here. Smolder already forces the enemy to engage. If the enemy has low engage, poke can be very good. But if the enemy has an extreme proficiency in engaging, you want anti-engaging. You want bulk. You want damage. You want meat grinders. Right? Here, in spots like these, Zarakan can be good. Attack speed Varus can be good. But lethality Varus, no. The enemy already has 5 champions that can hard force on you. And they will never ever show up on mid waves for you to poke them. Never. Smolder is already poking them and provoking them. Varus lethality does nothing in a game like this. But Yamato, they are squishy. No. They never need to show, guys. Genji mid turret doesn't fucking matter. Ahri can be on mid, and then the rest of Genji players just need to be in river. They should never be in a position to be poked. Their mid turret doesn't matter if How Alive get it. It doesn't matter. Varus is not the problem, guys. Because keep in mind, bans happen. The people that are saying Varus is the problem, if Varus went attack speed this game, bought Ninja Tabi, has a Renata, you would feel very different. We've already agreed that Aurora should be banned or first picked in this game. That we already agree on. But as you're playing against this, for all the people that are saying Varus shouldn't be picked, what would you play? Okay? What would you play? Kai's out, Ezreal out, Kalista out. Zarakan is an option, yeah? Zarakan is an option, that's fine. Zarakan is an option to pick here. Probably solid, yeah? But Varus Renata is basically the same theme. Kog'Maw Lulu, Kog'Maw Braum probably better at that point. If Varus goes attack speed with the Renata, this is also a good game for Varus, I think. I'm telling you, if Varus has Ninja Tabi and Blade Ginzu, if a Nocturne ults on him and he can fight back because he cleanses and he just keeps basic attacking and people block the Ahri charm or whatever, like, Varus is not that bad, I think. But I still think that it's a very hard spot to solve because the enemy has Aurora. Plain and simple. I think Aurora on red side is just too powerful. Okay. How Life won the swap situation. They dove both, got 2 kills, right? And Leona got 1 kill, so that's very nice. This game exploded on its head. This grub fight. So How Alive are trying to use the momentum of better position to fight here, but they are forcing a fight when this is your mid lane inventory. I don't think it's that great. I think in this moment here, you end up in a position where Genji is super happy to just fucking fight. They are sending this fight no matter what. Probably Ari could have TP'd earlier or maybe into the pit to be closer, and it gets rather close. But Pace is hitting this entire time with his red buff. Manages to get a double kill, and he's now on 3-0. He's gonna base for Blade now, and I also think that the game is already over. I don't think that Smolder scales hard enough to win. I really don't think so. I think that Twitch and Aurora scale way better. Let's showcase Drake number 3, how strong this comp can be. This is Drake number 3, I believe this is where it happens. So here is a good example. Chovy can just be on mid-wave. Who the fuck is Viper poking? They just need to be in river. They just need to be in river. They're in the bush. And when Varus doesn't have vision, his range doesn't matter. His range really doesn't matter. The best hope how Alive have is that they Sejuani ult, they Varus ult, and they start fighting themselves. They take initiative in the fight. That's the dream for them. They engage on Nocturne, they engage on Leona, just start fucking hitting. You know? That's the best case scenario. Like, this is the fight where Genji don't even play the fight that well, if I'm gonna be earnest. What did you send me, Mephisto? Look at this one. Look at this beauty here. Pays now in the Nocturne ult. They don't see him. They don't know what's happening. Look at that. The Pays is just shooting outside of their near-sighted range. They don't even know where the fuck these bullets are coming from. That's Nocturne Twitch for you, bro. But Twitch has no business being 18 minutes 2-core with Hurricane Blade, right? So that's on them. Why Nocturne over Vi is just preference. And they are very happy to play these combos. Like Nocturne Twitch is a better combo than Vi Twitch. This is just a preference. Like, Cannon does not look good on Vi. He doesn't like to play this champ. But this is the comp in action. Like, Lehens is dying practically for free here. He gets queued, doesn't flash. Paper Mario. Keen gets rooted, has the TP to break the root. And keep in mind, this is a Smolder that has 226 stacks at this point, you know? But it just pays 2 items, Astro Gliding, Astro Surfing, murdering them. Has 2 sums up still, Flash and Cleanse. Like, so I repeat, like in my mind, I think attack speed Varus, Zara Khan, Rumble would have been better. I don't like an R here. I think they should have gone Rumble. Just more early game strength would have been better. And of course, banning Aurora, I think would have gone a long way. Alright. Soon we're gonna have a moment with Pays. Like, if Pays was listening to... Like, if Pays was listening to something like this. No, wait. Wait, this is the one. But he doesn't flash. He doesn't flash. That was his moment, bro. It was his moment, bro. It was his fucking moment. Bro, if he flashes here, he legit fucking does player of the whole worlds. Like, if he just flashes the Nar commitment on him, He could have really done something special here, but the outcome is not that bad because in the end, like, the enemy team doesn't get Nash, he does enough damage. Like here, holy, he's just peppering, bro. Imagine he flashes right here. Imagine he flashes right here, bro. Bah. Could have been brilliant. But he got enough damage through, so it was okay. And Pace kept flash for, of course, the soul fight. We have this situation here where Genji also played really fucking bad. I don't know what Keen is doing, honestly. I don't know why nobody is just fucking... Why is nobody just fighting? Like, Lehens and Canyon are just losing HP. Like, they just need to fucking someone to create space from the angles. They're just funneling themselves through the same spot. It feels nice to see that Genji and How Alive can also be human, you know? It's nice. Because... They are not like Keen is just oinking the whole fight, Chovi's oinking the whole fight. Just fucking start the fight, you know, start hitting shit, use your abilities so Pace can fucking pop. But they are just looking there while their team is losing HP and getting spat on by the Smolder with the rapid fire. This was a very bad look for Genji. Like here they are just pushing out. Yeah, finally descended full on Varus. They find him in isolation. Canyon just says, let's fucking pop him with Twitch. How Alive are just positioning a little bit away from Viper, so he gets fucking snacked on. They just need to use the spells, really, so fucking Pace can fight. I thought that this Nash was a little bit iffy for me, because I thought that Zeka can carry here, because there's no Nocturne ult, no Ahri ult, no Twitch ult. Yeah, definitely the fucking Zeka can walk up and spit on them for free, you know? So this is like kind of fucking dangerous. Peanut's just taking damage for free. Like Peanut needs to fucking tether a little bit more to Zeka, and they just need to rotate Qs here, because Peanut just needs to remain healthy. As he needs to have eyes on Nash. I guess he's blocking the charm, that's okay. He's blocking the charm from his boy, okay? I understand that. He's blocking the charm of his boy. That's cool. He's blocking the charm of Doran. Doran probably would have died. That's okay. And then Doran, I don't know what Doran is doing here. What's Doran doing here, guys? I'm watching Doran and he's just tanking Nash for the boys. Look at him. He's tanking Nash for the culture. Look at that, man. He's tanking Nash for the culture. What's he doing here, bro? What's he doing there, bro? Doran just is tanking Nash for the culture. I guess they are looking to finish it, but Canyon just ice in his veins. Okay. I think How Alive played fine, honestly. A lot of moving pieces. I think it's okay, bro. It's okay. It's okay. It's a lot of moving pieces. They tried to get the smite off, but Canyon just had fucking ice in his veins, bro. Alright. At this point, the game is over. Like, fucking, this Twitch is just too fed. Way too fed. Okay, so I guess that leaves us to cover predictions. Tomorrow we have the 1-1-1-1-1-1-1-1-1-1 day. I mean, you're probably nervous as shit. The thing is, if you want to win worlds, that shouldn't be a thing, right? We're talking about top 3 teams in the world here. I think that they played it fine, honestly, looking at it now. Okay, we got the 1-1-1 teams. So we have Top Esports versus Fnatic. I think that Top Esports, their weaknesses are not going to be exposed by Fnatic. I think that Top Esports being blue side, I think is chill. They have the Aurora in the pocket, Yon in the pocket. Fnatic will have to ban both. I think 369 looked pathetic on the Rumble. He had a good early game, but then his ults were causing forest fires in Guatemala. Like, it was crazy how the Rumble ults were flying. I think that Fnatic should try to lane swap against Top Esports because they're fucking ass at it. 369 in swap situations just fucking, he just fucking fumbles. Like that one game it happened at this tournament, he just died on Renekton with Q start. I think that's super silly. I'm not a big fan of that. I think that Top Esports, the main question is, it's like, what is the evolution that is hiding? I think that there is a world where Cream is going to pick Smolder after Yon Aurora's out. I think if Top Esports play a Smolder game, I think that Fnatic make enough mistakes to be punished. And then the question is, I think that Yon being out is really good for Fnatic. I think they should fucking be playing mages. They have the Showmaker problem. They really have the Showmaker problem. I think that they should be playing AP mids. I think they should be playing Orianna, and I think that's how they win, bro. I think that there's a world where Yon, Aurora gets banned by Fnatic, and a one, maybe Scanner, Yon, Aurora could be the bans, let's say. and then top esports first pick Smolder, and then I think Fnatic, I think they roll out, bust out a little Orianna. I think that could be rock and roll. Could be also the Fnatic ban Vi, because Vi is also like a probable first pick for top esports. Could be possible. I think like Cream, we did this thing where we took the test here. We went on Deep LoL and we pulled up Cream. Cream is the player that got me excited about the prospect of Smolder being in the meta. So let's take a look at his account, okay? My man kept playing the AD carry mid, Akali, and then he started playing Smolder. He just started playing Smolder. Let me see. I need to go a little bit further back because I was checking his account quite some time. Smolder. You know. I think that you should not give Yone away if you're Fnatic. You're too bad to play against Yone. I'm not a believer. I think that you should not give Yone to Cream. Cream is the Chinese Zeka. You shouldn't. You really shouldn't. So I think giving Smolder to top esports and then playing Orianna into it, I think that's legit for Fnatic. I could see Fnatic potentially winning a game like that. Potentially. But top esports is obviously favorite. Maybe Vi, Aurora, Yone ban. I think that's solid, bro. But I think top esports is a better team over Fnatic, and I think top esports has been relatively, like, they've been solid. Like, keep in mind, top esports played T1 and they played Gen G. And, you know, at first they had a very strong early game against Gen G, and Rumble was very fed, but Gen G had too much of a Gen G draft, you know? So I think Fnatic is losing here. I think top esports win. Bilibili versus T1. I think Bilibili should be favored here. I think that their loss against LNG, honestly, like, I really like Bilibili as a team, but this preparation here fills me with disgust. Like, it's truly disgusting, this preparation. They lost against LNG in the regular season, a best of 3, and never played them again. And they lost against pretty much something very similar to this. And they lost one game to Azir, one game to Yone, and I don't know why they would first pick Orianna when Yone is available. They banned Kindred. I don't know what happened in the back room. I think Shun is a Kindred Nidalee OTP, right? That's what he got famous for, and that's what he was before he joined Bilibili, and he even played that on Bilibili. I think Shun said, can I sub in one game so I can get a Kindred skin? And Big Way said, what the fuck did you just say? Leave the fucking room. And then he banned Kindred just to show him who the big dog is. I don't know, I'm trying to explain it. I don't know why you wouldn't want to ban Yone here, why you wouldn't want to ban Rumble here, why you wouldn't want to ban Ziggs here. Like, there's 3 champions I place LNG on as like pre-tournament. If someone told me what will they look to play at this tournament, I would say Yone, Rumble, and Ziggy Azalea. But they first pick Orianna, and then they invite the Yone, Nocturne takeaway. Like, this is disturbing. And then even as a follow-up, there's no ban on 5. This one is more acceptable, guys, than the Kindred ban. Because at least you can make the argument that if we ban supports, we hurt our 4-5, and if we ban ADs, we hurt our 4-5. I think that's plausible, right? Because they are sharing pool at this point. Let's say they ban Jhin, then the enemy gets Ashe for free. They ban Ashe, the enemy gets Jhin for free. They ban Alistar, the enemy gets Rel for free. And the enemy, if you ban Poppy, then the enemy still has Alistar, I can pick Rel. You know, there's arguments there, you know? So there's that. Getting Yone even as B3 is... B3, like you want to pick Yone into Rumble, it's not the greatest, I think. I don't think Yone top is as good as mid. Anyhow, LNG should be ashamed. And even this game was really fucking close. It's like fucking Bin lobbed Poppy into his Orianna, so she got eaten to the wall. Even that game was close, you know? But I think Bilibili is better. T1 had a great game against Pain Gaming, but we really don't rate that highly. I think T1 can make macro mistakes a little bit later. I think Bilibili can compete with the early game. And I think that the main thing that stands out is just, you know, can Zeus find something crazy in the counter pick? But I think Bilibili is going to ban Nar and pick Renekton 1, 2, 3. And I don't think there's anything too crazy T1 can pick. I think T1, if anything, I would be curious to see if they can press Bin a little bit on the Aurora department, on the Rumble department. But most likely, I think they are in the headspace where they're thinking Knight will just play the Aurora if he gets it, and they will play an AD jungle with it, and that's it. So, I think Bilibili is favored here against T1 in this best of one. PSG versus Fly, I think this is an interesting one. I think that FlyQuest looked rather pathetic against Damwon. But I think that FlyQuest have good draft ideas. I don't think that PSG have a lot of depth in terms of how they draft. I think the teams are going to recognize that they should focus bans on ASEAN and Maple rather than Junjia. And I think that that can go a long way. I think that Maple Orianna, maybe remove his Yone is something of interest, and then give Fly mid pick on 3. And I think that could be really good. The last time they played off against each other, FlyQuest was a way weaker team. But I think the FlyQuest should be like a slight favorite coming into this one, I think. Slight favorite. But PSG could definitely win. Like, this is a very close matchup. I would argue that this is probably the closest matchup out of all. I personally think that G2 is going to win against Weibo. I think that Weibo Gaming, in terms of the draft prep and their inconsistency of play, makes them ripe for big gold swings when it comes to G2 post 15-20 minutes. I think Weibo Gaming is a very strange team to gauge. Like, Weibo Gaming can be damn good and they can be damn bad. I think there is going to be elements of luck for G2. And like, the main question for you is, what do you think is more likely? What kind of Weibo is going to happen on the day? I think that's like the main question. And my gut feeling is telling me we're going to have a worse Weibo Gaming, like a weaker variant. But there's definitely a world where Weibo Gaming just takes a big shit on G2. That's what they're capable of. They definitely, you know, they definitely have that range of play. Even in the same game, they have that range of play. So it's a tough one, you know? It's definitely a tough one. But my gut feeling is telling me that we have a weaker Weibo. You know? My gut feeling. So I am predicting G2 here. I haven't liked Weibo's prep at this World Championship. I haven't liked it. I think that G2 is very consistent in how they play. They have weak early games, and then their mid to late game is fucking brilliant. I think that they have some select champions that they pick that look very strong, that they look really good on. For example, BB Poppy. But I think that sometimes they're very lost on what jungler they should pick, because that Lilia pick was very out of place in my opinion. So can Weibo get a big enough lead in the early game? Maybe. And maybe it's just a 20-minute game. But I think if G2 can stabilize, I think they can find opportunities where Weibo make mistakes. So like in the short term, like I think this is definitely, for the bettors out there, I do think that I wouldn't include this or this in any parlays. I think top esports Bilibili can be fine. It depends on the odds of T1. Like if the bookies are saying that this is like an even matchup, I think there's room. But I don't think this is like 100% lock. I don't think this is 100% lock either. I think that you want to see draft, you know? You would really want to see draft. Okay. What else? We can check DPM Lord Pick'em, I guess. Alright, well, I feel like my Yone pick is losing because teams are being silly. So, sucks, I guess. Sucks. Kalista win rate is looking pretty fucking mean. It's crazy because the one loss Kalista has is Pain Gaming versus T1. there's actually that. The staggering amount of Hex and Infernal Drakes is crazy. That one is something. I actually have a bet going that the highest game time is going to be less than 46 minutes. So I clenched my butt cheeks a couple of times already, bro. To double my money. No game time over 46. Yeah, Infernal is already a lock. For anyone that didn't pick Poppy, you're a sucker, because that was the most obvious one ever. Not sending big Genji 3-0, I think, was also really troll. I just went for the Giga Billy swing that really didn't pay off because he lost against LNG. Rel, done. I think Rel, Aurora, Infernal, I think that's GG already. Complete GG already, bro. The thing is, maybe somebody can match, but it doesn't matter if you match. I thought there would be more Javan in Worlds considering how strong it looked in solo queue. I was telling you, Syndra is overrated. Viego's overrated. Javan overrated. I warned you everywhere, guys. I warned you everywhere. I warned you. I told you, Jinx is trash. I got K'Sante wrong, so there's that. I thought K'Sante would be picked more, but he's not even in the most picked anymore. What happened to K'Sante? I think that the answers are just too good. The answers are just too good. You know, my read was that I thought that Rel would get banned. I thought Rel would get banned for 5. That was my read. But it just gets through. And AD carries are being banned more frequently than supports. That's why I picked Leona as my most death. Because if we look 14-15, it's like there was a decent amount of bans, you know, on Rel. And I thought that people recognize that Rel is so good. So I thought it's gonna get banned, but it's open every time, blind picked every time, so it's really popping off in the number department. Really popping off in the number department. 14-18. Only 6 bans. We have Leona. Leona's got banned more often, and then like all the Leona players are just smurfing, bro. Like the KDA of Leona is 3.2, man. Leona's not dying. Can you explain why there's so many Infernal? It's complete RNG. There's no explanation. It's just RNG. I don't know if they'll adopt Fearless Draft at Worlds. I think they're going to use the first international every year to test out new game modes or new tournament modes.